Hey, and welcome back to Food for Thought. Here's what's on the menu for today. Oh, this is a bit controversial. You sure about this, Perry? Okay, today's menu is a food so reviled it got pulled from schools, so beloved it sparked gate smuggling rebellions, and so British it hurts. This is Turkey Twizzlers. They're more than just a spiral of questionable meat. They represent the turning point in Britain's relationship with processed foods, class, and how we feed our kids. From post-war rationing to Jamie Oliver's kitchen crusade, let's carve into the twisted tale of one of UK's most controversial lunches. To understand Turkey Twizzlers, we have to go back, not to the 90s, but to 1941, when the UK introduced the Education Provision of Meals Act. Wartime rationing had left kids undernourished, so the state stepped in with hot, nutritious, balanced meals, often including stews, meat pies, fresh veg, and even fruit puddings. By the 1960s and 70s, school meals were a point of pride. They were regulated, cooked on site, and cost parents next to nothing. But that golden age didn't last. In 1980, Margaret Thatcher's government removed the requirement for schools to provide hot meals. Funding was cut, and school dinners became a matter of budget over nutrition. Catering services were privatized, and by the late 1980s, schools were choosing foods that were cheap, fast, and easy to prepare. Enter the Beige Revolution. Chicken nuggets, potato waffles, and our star of the show, Turkey Twizzlers. Turkey Twizzlers were introduced in the early 1990s as part of a frozen food boom. Food manufacturers leaned into highly processed convenience meals. Designed to be kid-friendly, cheap to produce, and easy to store, the original Twizzlers were just 34% turkey, patted out with water, breadcrumbs, fat, sugar, and flavor enhancers like MSG. But what made them a hit was the spiral shape and crispy texture, fun, funky, and weirdly satisfying. They weren't healthy, but they were efficient. And in a cash-strapped system where schools had limited resources and parents had limited time, they were a solution. By the early 2000s, the UK was facing a childhood obesity crisis. Studies showed that British children were among the unhealthiest in Europe, and school meals were put under the microscope. Into this culinary battlefield stepped Jamie Oliver, cheeky Essex lad turned celebrity chef. His 2005 show, Jamie's School Dinners, wasn't just a cooking show. It was an expose. Jamie was shocked by what he found.
I honestly have no idea what is in that.
Kids eating Turkey Twizzlers, pizza, and chips nearly every day. Teachers ordering school meals without knowing what was actually in them. Children who couldn't identify vegetables like leeks, zucchini, or even tomatoes. Kitchen staff barely trained beyond reheating and portioning frozen foods. One of the most infamous scenes showed Jamie blending chicken bones, skin, and offcuts into a paste to demonstrate what goes into cheap meat products. The kids were horrified. That is until he shaped the meat mush into familiar nuggets. And then they wanted to eat them anyway. But the breakout villain? Turkey Twizzlers. Jamie held them up on national TV and said,
I personally have a problem with kids eating these kinds of foods on a regular basis. Why? It's the cheapest source of meat possible. It needs to then be given all sorts of preservatives and various things to stop it discolouring and stuff like that. That's not a very nice cocktail of things. F***ing Turkey Twizzlers. I'll tell you what, I'm going to send the on their factory, shove it right up the jacksie of the MD. If you're watching, Mr. Turkey Twizzler, can you do me a favour and just... Yeah, so what? That's not what this... I'm not doing this experiment because I'm going to send my kids to state school, because they ain't going to go to state school, are they? Let's be honest, right? I'm doing this because I want the kids to eat better food. I want the kids to be healthier. I want them to grow up with better habits. I want us to have a better, cooler, cleverer, healthier nation.
Jamie Oliver's intentions were noble, but the fallout revealed something more complex than just bad food equals bad parenting. For many working-class families, the school dinner system was more than just nutrition. It was an economic lifeline.
I might be speaking out of term here, but most of the bands, that's the only decent meal they get a day. And then, like this area, luckily it's not for my two, but some bands, that's all they'll get. They'll go home and they'll get a bag of crisps shoved in their hand. So they're relying on that school dinner, nutrition and all that, to feed them all day till the next school dinner, and they're not getting it.
And Jamie, with his organic ingredients and made-from-scratch ethos, was seen by some as a middle-class outsider lecturing the poor. The media had a field day. Tabloids ran headlines like, "Idiot junk food parents feel the wrath of Jamie," "Chips smuggled over fence," and many, many more. Yes, this actually happened. In one Rotherham school, parents who felt their kids weren't eating enough staged an actual rebellion, passing bags of chips, sausage rolls, and yes, even Turkey Twizzlers through the school gates. It was dubbed the Great Chip Smuggling Scandal. There was an undeniable clash of values. Jamie spoke the language of food as health, skill, and dignity. But many parents saw food as comfort, affordability, and agency. Some argued that Jamie's campaign shamed working-class eating habits without addressing the systemic issues behind them. Why were processed foods cheaper than fresh produce? Why were school kitchens underfunded to begin with? And why wasn't healthy food made convenient too? There's also the nostalgia factor. Twizzlers, smiley faces, chocolate sponge with pink custard.
Chips, burgers, fish fingers, anything that you can cook with grease. Smileys, stuff, 2 chicken wings.
It's tradition in all schools to have chips.
But they do burgers. We don't like being healthy. Someone give me a crisp. It's going to be healthy nasty.
They weren't just meals, they were memories. And taking them away felt personal.
And you remember how annoying Jamie Oliver was when we were in school and he kept banning the best foods, but he wasn't the one eating them. It was so annoying.
Yeah, he was a prick.
Turkey Twizzlers, and then the sponge cake you used to get for dessert got banned.
Honestly, don't mention this.
So while Jamie's campaign was a catalyst for change, it also laid bare a nation divided by class, taste, and access. The conversation have moved beyond meat spirals and into something far meatier. But even before the Twizzlers officially returned on the scene, the public image of Bernard Matthews, the company, not the man, was already being rehabilitated. In 2010, Marco Pierre White, the famously blunt Michelin star chef, became the face of Bernard Matthews' new campaign. Yep, the same company that made the very Twizzlers Jamie dragged on national television. Marco appeared in ads, carving turkey roasts, and singing the praises of British poultry. The message? The turkey deserves better PR. Some applauded it as a support for British farmers post-avian flu, but others called it a U-turn drenched in gravy. Was it about food ethics? A paycheck? Or just proof that in Britain, even food fights come full circle? Either way, the Twizzler comeback show how even once vilified foods can be rebranded, repackaged, and reincarnated if the market is ready. After 15 years of absence, the Twizzlers made their return in 2020. The relaunch was driven by nostalgia and maybe a bit of PR brilliance. Bernard Matthews claimed the new recipe was designed with health in mind, but also leaned hard into the market aimed at millennials who miss them. The reviews mixed. Some loved the new take. Others said it lacked the signature grease and crunch of the originals.
Now I can't be the only one that was let down last year. And I'm not talking about COVID. Who else was extremely disappointed when they tried the new Turkey Twizzlers? We waited f***ing years after that Jamie Oliver f***ing banned them, and then in the middle of this lockdown shit, we had a glimmer of f***ing hope when we heard Turkey Twizzlers were making a comeback. And they were sold out everywhere. And then we finally got our hands on a pack. We cooked them. We sat there for dinner, big smile on our face, remembering all those good times at school, eating Turkey Twizzlers. You put the bite in your mouth, and you had this huge rush of disappointment. They were f***ing shit. Gutted.
So what does the story of the Turkey Twizzler really tell us? It's not just about meat spirals. It's about the decline of public investment in kids' nutrition, the rise of processed convenience, and how food becomes wrapped up in identity, class, and memory. The Twizzler is a relic of its time when we prioritize speed over substance, and a reminder of how cultural food memories stick, even when the E-numbers don't. So, have you ever had a Turkey Twizzler? Let me know in the comments down below. I've been researching and hearing so much about it, and I kinda want to try it. If this video made you hungry, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and check out our episode playlist. That's food for thought. Until next time, stay curious, remember to eat your veggies, and maybe save the Turkey Twizzlers for a throwback Thursday. You know, food for thought.